welcome. Today we continue on with the NFL draft profile previews, and we've landed on the safety position, which is one of my personal favorites. And today's player focus is Tre'von Moehrig, safety from TCU. So for the past couple of years as I've been getting more involved and more in depth with the NFL draft process and the prospects themselves, safety and defensive back and wide receiver have become some of my favorite positions to look at and scout, if you will. I'm not actually a scout. It's just me doing this at home, So, but it's been entertaining to say the least. And you definitely, well, I left out edge rusher too. That's another fun one. Brian Burns, amazing prospect. But safety has been one of the ones that I've fallen in love with. Just getting to watch the tape and what have you and pick it apart has been very entertaining. Some of the best ones that I've loved from the previous years: Jonathan Abram, Darnell Savage, Derwin James, who I pounded the table for when he was drafted. Couldn't believe that he lasted to 17 overall. Just insane how safeties fall in the draft. And then last year, we unfortunately don't get a safety in the first round. Grant Delpit and Xavier McKinney both go in round 2. And this year, it's starting to look like that could potentially happen once again, because the safety class, which we will get into more as the month and the goes on and the draft gets closer, as we have a lot more safeties to talk about, like Jevon Holland, who unfortunately opted out, Paris Ford, who opted out after 6 games, Cisco, who had the injury, and then we're left with Darius Washington and today's prospect, which is Tre'von Moehrig. And Moehrig may be the best safety in the class, having just been the recipient of the Jim Thorpe Award for the 2020 season. And it's looking like he could really solidify that number 1 overall safety status with a good pro day, good combine, and really just sort of run away with it. But will he get drafted in the first round? I don't know. That's a tough question. We'll see how the back end of the first round solidifies as teams get eliminated from the playoffs. I don't foresee him getting picked in the top 15. I think that would be an astronomical reach for this draft class. So if you're a Vikings fan and thinking, well, Anthony Harris is on his way out, safety would be pretty smart. No, not at 14. 14's a little too much. So let's get into Tre'von Moehrig profile here. He is a junior, 6'2", 202 pounds, depending on what website you visit, of course. 2018, he played 11 games, had 15 tackles, 12 solo, 1 interception, 1 pass deflection. 2019, the stats go up with 1 additional game. He plays 12 games, 19 tackles, 43 solo, 4 interceptions, 11 passes defended. And then in 2020, with a shortened season, he plays 10 games, 47 tackles, 30 solo, 2 interceptions, which was 8th in the conference, and 9 passes defended, which was good enough for 4th in the conference. Last game played was a win versus Louisiana Tech. He had 3 tackles, all solo, not much more to speak of. For the big board rankings that you can find around the internet, number 56 on Tankathon. He's also the number 1 safety on that website. PFF has him as the number 27 overall prospect and the number 1 safety. Draft Network has him as the number 53 prospect. So it's an interesting range of numbers there, if you will, with 56, 53, and 27. There's obviously a lot more draft big boards that you can find. I neglected to check Walter Payton this time because I just didn't feel like I wanted to and didn't have the board space. But I think as we get closer to the draft, big boards, positional rankings are going to be made more available, because everybody's basically crunching right now to put out the draft guides while waiting for all of the players to officially declare, because that deadline is fast approaching. So once we get, obviously profiles that we do now, we'll revisit later, but rankings are going to be a thing that change. So what do we like about Tre'von Moehrig as far as a safety prospect that has been seen on tape? Well, according to the scouts, having thumbed through some literature that has been written about Moehrig in recent months and / this year, they believe that he has the range to be a really good single high free safety. He's very aggressive, which is something I personally saw when I watched the highlight reels and some of the tape on him. And the other thing is that he is very good in zone coverage. So if you're looking for a safety to sort of roam and be free, he's one of the ones that's going to be, obviously the best at that. Some of the negatives, and I don't want to say negatives, but maybe like instead of negatives, like stuff that needs to be worked on, I feel like is more better for some reason. Less negative, I guess. But and I actually kind of saw this myself when I read the scouting report, or some of the scouting reports. Run defense kept coming up as kind of a question mark for him, and not so much in the in the flats or some on a play that's recognized immediately. It's more so on when a run breaks out into the second level, right? Gets past the front line of the defense, past the front seven. Suddenly, the running back's in the secondary. The one of the phrases I remember saying was, teams might be hesitant to want to rely on him as a last line of defense. That being, of course, the safety is the one that makes sure the running back doesn't take it to the house. Some of the tackles that I saw on such plays, I thought maybe, bad pursuit angles. It feels like he could have chosen a better angle to pursue the running back and drag him down for a tackle. And maybe save like 5 to 10 yards, but that was only a couple occurrences. What was really impressive was the open field tackles in the flats, or something that was a designed run to the outside, how he pursues the running back in that situation / scenario, much better than what I saw tackling running backs at the second level. So, but I don't think that that's enough of a negative to drop him out of the conversation of the number one safety. Unfortunately, for some of the other players that we've mentioned, rather unknown commodities at this point due to just not enough games this year. But I think at the end of the day, Tre'von Moehrig, if he was, I don't know, maybe just a little bit more in the spotlight, I think we'd be talking about a first round pick that could be somewhere in the 15 to 20 range. Do I think he goes in the first round? I don't really do projections too much on this. I saved that for the mock drafts. I think the last time I did a mock draft, I had Paris Ford going in the first round, way too high to the Cleveland Browns. I don't think I'm ready to do a safety in the first round. I think whoever is picking in the first half of the second round is going to have their their choice of safety. And I think Trayvon Moehrig will probably be the first one off the board, whether it's the end of day one or the beginning of day two. So that is the profile for Trayvon Moehrig. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.